This video is sponsored by Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, build your online presence with Squarespace.
Hey everyone, Ace of Clay here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another sculpting video. Today, I'm getting back into the Creepypasta fan art and I'm making Jeff the Killer. If you don't know who Jeff the Killer is, he is another Creepypasta character, just like Slender Man, who I made a few weeks ago. If you want some more details, Jeff the Killer is the villainous protagonist of the Creepypasta story of the same name, who loses his sanity and begins murdering to satisfy his homicidal urges. Jeff has extremely pale skin and burnt off eyelids, giving him an even more ghostly appearance. Jeff later got his most distinctive trait, the smile that he had carved into his face. He's also one of the largest Creepypasta icons, even rivaling Slender Man, who I made a couple weeks ago, like I said, and the reason I'm making this guy today is because so many of you asked for him on that Slender Man video. So here you go. Then before we get started, I just want to invite you to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Ace of Clay if you want to interact with me some more. And now let's make Jeff the Killer. All right, let's get started. The first step, of course, is the armature, which is the internal structure for the sculpture, and I used 12 gauge aluminum wire to shape out the torso and legs, and then I attached the arms as a separate piece with some floral wire. And as always, all of the materials and tools that I use in this video are listed in the description box below, along with my affiliate links if you want to purchase anything. Now, after bulking out the torso with some Sculpey Ultralight, it's time to bake this. Once it's baked and completely cooled down, as you can see there, I reinforced the legs by wrapping some more 12 gauge wire around them just to make them a little bit stronger so he doesn't droop in the oven. Now I'm taking some Super Sculpey Original, a pretty decent sized snake of clay, and I'm wrapping it around each leg to create the legs. And because his description says that he has skinny jeans, I want to keep his legs kind of skinny and maybe put a little bit of a taper at the top. And here I'm adding a little bit more clay just to create that taper I was just talking about. Then once I have the legs pretty much shaped out, I'm going to go in with some smaller snakes of clay and blend these in to create some folds and wrinkles on the pants. Okay, while I'm doing this, I want to know, what do you think of creepypastas? If you know what they are, which one's your favorite, let me know in the comments. If I had to pick, I would have to say Slender Man. I like his story when I was doing my research for that video. I like what he looks like. I just think he's really creepy and eerie. So let me know which one's your favorite in the comments. And then as far as Jeff the Killer goes, is he my favorite? No, definitely not. But I do like how the sculpture comes out, not gonna lie. There are a bunch of different depictions of him. There's the original one, which is that really horribly photoshopped photo, and then there's the more like marketable designs, and I sort of went that route. You'll see later on, but this is definitely, in my opinion, the creepiest sculpture that I've made so far. And again, this is the first one I've made with any blood. And then back to the sculpting. As you can see here, I'm just sort of capping off the pant legs with some snakes of clay and blending the top edge in with the rest of the pants. Now we're going in and adding some more wrinkles. And now that the skinny jeans are done, I'm going to go ahead and add some clay to his upper half. And we're just going to blend this in first and then start creating his white hoodie. And then for the spandex part of the hoodie, I just ran the snake of clay vertically through my pasta roller, and I'm adding it to the bottom. And then I'm going to take another piece of clay and sort of bring out the stomach area a little bit to make it look like it is a baggy hoodie. And we're going to sort of overlap that lip that I added. And now more snakes of clay to create folds and wrinkles on the hoodie. Now I'm just going to add some clay for the neck and blend that in before I go any further with anything else. Now using my Explorer tool, I'm going to create this texture on the bottom part of his hoodie, that spandex piece again. Now to create the hood, I'm just shaping out this piece of clay in my fingertips, like so, sort of pulling it outward like that, just to create the shape of the hood, of course. And then I'm going to attach it and keep shaping it out. And now for an added detail, I'm just going to add those little strings that tighten the hood, and I'm going to create a hole for the strings first, and then add the little tiny snakes of clay in. Now for a final detail, I'm going to add some seams and then brush the entire surface with clay softener to remove fingerprints, and then get him ready for another bake. And once he's baked and completely cooled down, it's time to start the arms. And then while I'm doing the arms, I just want to ask, did you know I had a Facebook group? Do you like sculpting? Do you like looking at art? Then join my Facebook group. It is called Snakes of Clay. Just search for it on Facebook, and we'd love to have you. Everybody that's in it seems to like it. So far, I've had it since October, and it's doing pretty well. So if you want to check it out, join on Facebook. And now that the arms and sleeves are done, it's time for the hands. And once the hand is done, before I attach it, I just want to poke a hole inside and then fill that hole with a little bit of Bacon Bond and stick it onto the wire, after I trim it to size, of course. Now after getting that hand on, I just want to cap off the sleeves with a snake of clay. Now, like pretty much every depiction of him on Google, I'm going to go ahead and give him a big knife. So I'm just going to trace out and cut out the shape of a knife from this flat piece of clay, and then sort of bring out the handle a little bit with some more clay, and then I'm going to pre-bake this and stick it into his unbaked hand once it's all done. Add a couple nail heads here and get this thing in the oven. Then after attaching his other hand off camera, I'm going to go ahead and stick the knife in it. So all I'm going to do is just add a little bit of Bacon Bond and then wrap his fingers around it. There we go. His body is sculpted. Time for his eyes. To make his eyes, I'm going to be using these tiny 6mm cabochons, and I'm going to paint pupils on the back of each one, and then I'm going to put glow-in-the-dark clay behind them so his eyes glow in the dark, and they also will follow you due to the optical illusion that the domed cabochon creates. Now, before I forget, I gotta give him a pocket. And then let's start his head. I'm covering this piece of aluminum foil with some clay, of course, and then smoothing it out, adding a skewer to hold on to while I sculpt it. And let's start the eye sockets. And then, like I mentioned previously, I'm dropping a ball of glow-in-the-dark clay into each socket and pressing the cabochon into it firmly. Doing this for both eyes. And there we go. Now that those are in, he's going to be looking at you for the rest of this video. I'm just going to create some light marks with my tiny ball stylus for his nose, and then shape out his mouth, my Explorer tool, and then we're going to press out the teeth. And you can always pre-bake your teeth if you want. I'm just going to sculpt them directly into the head. Now that I have his smile pressed out, I'm just going to create the holes next to where his teeth and gums will be using my tiny ball stylus. Now I am separating the top teeth from the bottom. And using the other side of my Explorer tool, I'm going to create the space in between each tooth. Then using my pin tool from Excel Blades, use code ACEOFCLAY at excelblades.com for 15% off your purchase. I'm going to finish off the shape of each tooth. Now using my cone color shaper, I'm going to go ahead and create some little wrinkles around the mouth just to enhance the creep factor on this guy. And just like that, his head is done, so I'm adding some Bacon Bond and attaching it to the body and getting him ready for his final bake. And of course, before baking him, I'm going to brush the entire surface of all the uncured areas with some clay softener to remove fingerprints. Then once he's baked and completely cooled down, it's time for paint. All of the paints that I use in this video are Folk Art brand matte acrylics and varnishes. I'm going to start with all the white areas using some wonderful titanium white. And then I mixed some golden ochre, brown, and pure black together to create this nice yellow shade, and I watered it down to create a wash, and I'm just brushing it over the surface and wiping off the excess with my fingertips to just sort of dull out the hoodie a little bit and differentiate it from his skin. Then after darkening that yellow wash a little bit more, I'm going in with a finer paintbrush and really getting into all of those nooks and crannies. So far so good. On to the next step. We're going to paint the black circles around his eyes. And then of course, because the cabochons are glass, I don't care if I get paint on them, I'm just going to scratch it off later. Now using some very dark red that I created using pure black, fresh fern, and imperial red, I'm going ahead and creating a sort of wash over the gums and really getting into the space between each tooth. And then using some golden ochre mixed with titanium white and brown, I'm going ahead and painting the surface of each tooth. And then now we're just going back in with some more imperial red mixed with fresh fern only and darkening the gums a little bit more. This thing looks so weird. And then using some watered down brown, pure black, and titanium white, I'm going ahead and enhancing those cracks on his face. Now using some glossy varnish, I'm going to add some saliva all over his mouth area. Now I will be using pure black on his pants, shoes, and that wooden plaque. And I'm also going to paint the knife black too because it's going to be metallic silver, and metallics always look better over black. And then for the metallic silver, I will be using my amazing Folk Art Treasure Gold in the color Platinum, and we're just going to paint the knife. Look at that coverage. And now it's time to add some spattered blood all over the front of this guy, just protecting my wall there, and using some watered down imperial red mixed with fresh fern, I am flicking it on with a toothbrush. That looks pretty good. Now I just want to make sure he's completely dry with my blow dryer, and then we're going to scratch off the paint on his eyes. And then I did add some blood to the knife as well. Now for the final step, let's give this guy his hair. I'm using some black synthetic wool for this and Fabri-Tac to attach it. This is a great adhesive for anything you want to glue to polymer clay for the most part, except metal maybe. Now I'm just sort of gluing on these sections of hair like so, and just making my way around his head. I don't want it to be super thick, so I'm not going to add a ton of it. And then I wish that I would have painted his scalp black first, just because I'm not going to be adding a ton of hair and he's going to have bald spots. If I would have painted it black, it would have sort of disguised everything. Now for the front part of his hair, I'm just creating a part with a little bit of thread wrapped around there, trimming off the excess, and then gluing this on just like everything else to finish it off. And now for the very last step, let's do a little bit of styling. And then because I didn't paint his scalp black, I'm just filling in the bald spots with a black Sharpie. And he's done. Jeff the Killer is complete. Let me know what you think of this guy in the comments. How do you think I did? Let me know. And then if you use any of the tips and techniques in this video on your own projects, share them to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter and tag me at Ace of Clay or hashtag Ace of Clay so I can check them out. And that's a wrap. I really hope you like how my Jeff the Killer came out. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little skeptical when I started this thing. I was like, do I really want to make this guy? But I'm really glad I did because I really like how he came out, and I'm really glad, I keep saying I'm really glad, I really enjoyed the fact that I put the real hair on him. I thought it added a nice touch. So let me know what you think of this guy in the comments. Let me know, do you like creepypastas? Are they still cool? Am I stupid for making this? Let me know in the comments. And then before we close out, let's talk about our sponsor, Squarespace. Whether you're just getting started or you're an established brand, the Squarespace commerce platform supports the way you do business. Whether you're looking to sell products directly or even bill for your services, they've got you covered. For me personally, I love Squarespace for their portfolios. I'm constantly updating my website with more photos of my work, and I love how customizable the galleries are. And I also want to mention their amazing email support team that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're an actual team in an office that will typically respond to your questions within an hour. So if all that sounds good, head on over to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and then when you're ready to launch your website, go to squarespace.com/aceofclay to get 10% off your first purchase. And as always, thank you so much for watching and being here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and TikTok. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.